Honolulu International Airport is the principal aviation gateway of the city and county of Honolulu and the state of Hawaii and is identified as one of the busiest airports in the United States, with traffic now exceeding 21 million passengers a year and rising. It is located in the Honolulu census-designated place 3 miles northwest of Oahu's central business district. Main roads leading to the airport are Nimitz Highway and the Queen Liliuokalani Freeway of Interstate H1. Honolulu International Airport serves as the principal hub of Hawaiian Airlines, the largest Hawaii-based airline. Hawaiian offers flights between the various airports of the Hawaiian Islands and also serves the continental United States, Australia, New Zealand, American Samoa, Tahiti, Japan, and South Korea. It is host to major United States and international airlines, with direct flights to American, Asian, and Pacific Rim destinations. In addition to services to most major western cities and many smaller gateways, especially in California, the airport has succeeded in attracting long-haul services to the East Coast, including the recently added destinations of Toronto Pearson and Washington Dulles, which have joined established services to Atlanta, New York JFK and Newark. It is also the base for Aloha Air Cargo, which previously offered both passenger and cargo services under the name Aloha Airlines. This airline ceased passenger flights on March 31, 2008 and sold off its cargo services to Seattle-based Salt Ute Resources, Incorporated. In 2012, the airport handled 19,291,412 passengers, 278,145 aircraft movements and processed 412,270 metric tons of cargo. Tourists wanting to get from the Honolulu International Airport to their hotel in Waikiki can use public transportation, taxi cab, airport shuttle or rental car. History: HNL opened in March 1927 as John Rogers Airport, named after World War I naval officer John Rogers. It was funded by the Territorial Legislature and the Chamber of Commerce, and was the first full airport in Hawaii. Aircraft had previously been limited to small landing strips, fields or seaplane docks. From 1939 to 1943, the adjacent Kali Lagoon was dredged for use by seaplanes, and the dredged soil was moved to HNL to provide more space for conventional airplanes. The U.S. military grounded all civil aircraft and took over all civil airports after the attack on Pearl Harbor, and Rogers Field was designated Naval Air Station Honolulu. The Navy built a control tower and terminal building, and some commercial traffic was allowed during daylight hours. Rogers Field was returned to the territory of Hawaii in 1946. At the time, at 4,019 acres, it was one of the largest airports in the United States, with 4 paved land runways and 3 seaplane runways. John Rogers Airport was renamed Honolulu Airport in 1947. International was added to the name in 1951. Being near the center of the Pacific Ocean, it was a stop for many trans-Pacific flights. By 1950 it was the 3rd busiest airport in the United States in terms of aircraft operations, and its 13,097-foot runway was the longest in the world in 1953. In summer 1959 Qantas began the first jet service to Honolulu on its flights between Australia and California. Aeronautical engineer and airline consultant, Frank Dayuen, advised in the design of the original building and founded its Aerospace Museum. The original terminal building on the southeast side of runways 4 was replaced by the John Rogers Terminal, which was dedicated on August 22, 1962 and opened on October 14, 1962. From 1970 through 1978, the architect Vladimir Osipov designed a terminal modernization project that remodeled this terminal and created several additions, which included the Diamond Head Concourse in 1970, the Iwa Concourse in 1972, and the Central Concourse in 1980. Pan Am used Honolulu as a trans-Pacific hub for many years, initially as a connecting point between the West Coast and Polynesia in 1946, followed by service to East Asia through Midway Island and Wake Island from 1947. By the mid-1970s Pan Am offered non-stop service from Honolulu to Japan, Guam, Australia, New Zealand and Fiji, as well as to cities on the West Coast. Continental Airlines used Honolulu as a stopover point for charter service to Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War era, and to feed its Guam-based Air Micronesia operation. American Airlines also operated flights to Australia and the South Pacific through Honolulu from 1970 to 1975. Many foreign carriers used Honolulu as a trans-Pacific stopover point, including Air New Zealand, China Airlines, Japan Airlines, Korean Air, Philippine Airlines, Qantas and Singapore Airlines. Modernization and history since 2006. On March 24, 2006, Hawaii Governor Linda Lingle unveiled a $2.3 billion modernization program for Hawaii airports over a 12-year period, with $1.7 billion budgeted for Honolulu International Airport. The plan involves implementing short-term projects within the first 5 years to improve passenger service and increase security and operational efficiencies. As part of the modernization, flight display monitors throughout the airport have been upgraded, new food and beverage vendors have been added, and a new parking garage across from the International Arrivals Terminal has been completed. Current projects include an international arrivals corridor with moving sidewalks built atop the breezeway leading to the Liwa Concourse. The first phase of the project was completed in October 2009, while the remainder of the two-phase project was completed in 2010. In 2011, Hawaiian Airlines renovated the check-in lobby of the Inter-Island Terminal, replacing the traditional check-in counters with 6 circular check-in islands in the middle of the lobbies, which can be used for inter-island, mainland, and international flights. This renovation project was fully funded by Hawaiian Airlines and not a part of the modernization program. Future projects include construction of a Mauka concourse branching off the Inter-Island Terminal, the first concourse expansion at HNL in 15 years. Construction of the concourse will involve replacing the existing commuter terminal. This new concourse will be for the exclusive use of Hawaiian Airlines, and will allow it to reduce use of overseas terminal gates for international and U.S. mainland flights. This will mean less walking for passengers who check in, clear security, and use the baggage claim at the Inter-Island Terminal. It will also free up gates in the overseas terminal for use by other airlines. The new commuter terminal will have a dedicated parking lot and will be located east of the current Diamond Head concourse and connected to it by a second-floor post-security walkway. Landside plans include construction of a consolidated rental car facility. A temporary rental car center is currently being built in the overseas parking garage so that the existing rental car facilities can be demolished to make way for the new permanent facility. By 2012, Hawaiian Airlines was re-establishing Honolulu Airport as a connecting hub between the United States mainland and the Asia-Pacific region. That year, according to a Massachusetts Institute of Technology study, the airport had 24% fewer domestic departure flights than it did in 2007. Authority. Honolulu International Airport is part of a centralized state structure governing all of the airports and seaports of Hawaii. The official authority of Honolulu International Airport is the Governor of Hawaii, who appoints the Director of the Hawaii State Department of Transportation, who has jurisdiction over the Hawaii Airport's administrator. The Hawaii Airport's administrator oversees 6 governing bodies: Airports Operations Office, Airports Planning Office, Engineering Branch, Information Technology Office, Staff Services Office, Visitor Information Program Office. Collectively, the 6 bodies have authority over the 4 airport districts in Hawaii: Hawaii District, Kauai District, Maui District and the Principal AR District. Honolulu International Airport is a subordinate of the AR District officials. Facilities and aircraft. The airport has 4 major runways, which it operates in conjunction with the adjacent Hickam Air Force Base. The principal runway, designated 8R/26L, also known as the Reef Runway, was the world's first major runway constructed entirely offshore. Completed in 1977, the Reef Runway was a designated alternate landing site for the Space Shuttle. In addition to the 4 paved runways, Honolulu International Airport has 2 designated offshore runways designated 8W/26W and 4W/22W for use by seaplanes. The entire terminal complex features 24-hour medical services, restaurants, shopping centers and a business center with conference rooms for private use. Passengers have the option of using various short-term and long-term parking structures on the grounds of Honolulu International Airport. For the 12-month period ending January 30, 2014, the airport had 286,897 aircraft operations, an average of 786 per day. Of these movements, 53% were scheduled commercial, 25% air taxi, 16% general aviation and 5% military. There are 217 aircraft based at this airport, 51% single-engine, 21% multi-engine, 15% military, 9% helicopter and 3% jet. All Nippon Airways has its Honolulu office in Airport Building 47. When Mid-Pacific Airlines was in operations, its headquarters were on the airport property. Terminals. Honolulu International Airport has 3 terminal buildings. A fleet of Chance RT-52 buses provide interterminal transportation between the ticket counters of all 3 terminals and between the concourses in the inter-island and main terminals. These buses, known as Wiki buses, are the namesake for the Wiki Web, the first wiki. All gates in the airport are connected post-security. However, passengers with carry-on luggage who arrive in the inter-island or commuter terminal and wish to connect to a flight in the overseas terminal must clear an agricultural inspection. Commuter terminal The commuter terminal serves smaller airlines which operate flights between both the smaller and major commercial airports in the island chain. Boarding and deplaning is conducted directly on the tarmac, using an auxiliary incline ramp to avoid the air stairs. Passengers who depart from the commuter terminal bound for another island, and are connecting to a flight bound for the U.S. mainland may not have baggage checked through to their final destination. The bags must be claimed at the next airport and be rechecked after completing pre-departure agriculture inspection formalities. A replacement commuter terminal is being built on the Diamond Head side of the airport. The current commuter terminal is slated for closure and demolition once this is complete, to make way for expansion of the inter-island terminal. Inter-island terminal The inter-island terminal mainly serves the inter-island and some U.S. mainland flights and departing international flights of Hawaiian Airlines. Most of Hawaiian's U.S. mainland and international departures leave from gates in the overseas terminal. It is designed to handle flights of jet aircraft between the major commercial airports in the Hawaiian Islands. The former Aloha Airlines and Mokulele Airlines Ala Lounge has been converted to a second Hawaiian Airlines Premier Club Lounge near Gate 56. On the ground level, Hawaiian Airlines uses baggage claim B for U.S. mainland arrivals, and baggage claim C is used for inter-island and U.S. mainland arrivals. International arrivals on Hawaiian use the International Arrivals baggage claim located in the main terminal. Mokulele Airlines and Aloha Airlines formerly occupied baggage claim C. Main overseas terminal The main overseas terminal serves U.S. domestic and international destinations. All luggage departing Hawaii for the U.S. mainland, Guam, or international destinations must clear agricultural inspection. Bags to be checked must be scanned at dedicated agriculture inspection stations near the terminal entrance before checking in. Agricultural inspection for carry-on luggage, however, is carried out at the overseas TSA checkpoints. All boarding gates in the main overseas terminal at Honolulu International are common use, shared among all airlines, and may change daily as the need arises. No gates are assigned to any specific airline. The main overseas terminal is divided into 3 concourses. Diamond Head Concourse contains gates 6 a Euro 11, Central Concourse contains gates 14 a Euro 23, Biwa Concourse contains gates 26 a Euro 34, gates 12 to 13 and 24 to 25 are part of the main terminal building. All gates in the overseas terminal are capable of handling international arrivals, but only gates 24 to 34 are connected directly to the International Arrivals building. International arrivals into gates 6 to 23 must board Wiki buses to customs and immigration after deplaning. Airlines and destinations. Passenger One All U.S. Airways flights will be rebranded as American Airlines effective October 17, 2015. Cargo fixed base operators A number of fixed base operators are located along Lagoon Drive on the airport's southeastern perimeter. While these focus on general aviation services, there are a few small passenger airline operations that operate from these facilities, rather than from the main terminal complex. Air tour flights typically depart from this area as well. Traffic and statistics: the largest airline at Honolulu Airport is Hawaiian Airlines, offering 13,365 seats per day, which represents a 45% market share. The number 2 and number 3 carriers are United and Japan Airlines with 7.7% and 7.4% market share respectively. Traffic between Honolulu and the mainland United States is dominated by flights to and from Los Angeles and San Francisco. These two cities, plus Seattle, account for around half of all flights between the mainland and Honolulu. Hawaiian Airlines, with 11 routes, has the highest market share on routes between Honolulu and the continental United States. Internationally, Japan is the dominant market. Two-thirds of international seats are heading either for Nagoya, Osaka, Tokyo, with services provided by Japan Airlines, Air Japan, China Airlines, Delta, Hawaiian, or United. Narita alone is served with 61 weekly departures and is the second busiest international route from the United States, trailing only the lucrative John F. Kennedy Airport London Heathrow route. Other major international routes are to Seoul, Sydney and Vancouver. In October 2009, China-based Hainan Airlines was granted approval for a non-stop flight from Honolulu to Beijing. It would be the first mainland Chinese carrier to serve Hawaii and the airline's second U.S. destination after Seattle. The airline originally planned to launch the service by the summer of 2010, but the route has been further delayed due to visa concerns and landing fees. China Eastern, however, announced that it will begin non-stop flights from Honolulu to Shanghai on August 9, 2011 instead, marking the first ever direct, regularly scheduled service between China and Hawaii. On January 21, 2014, Air China launched the second China-Hawaii route with non-stop flights from Honolulu to Beijing, also the first non-stop route between the two cities. Las Vegas-based Allegiant Air used to offer once-weekly non-stop service to many smaller markets in the mainland western United States. These cities included Bellingham, Boise, Eugene, Fresno, Spokane, and Stockton. Allegiant still offers service to Las Vegas and Los Angeles. Top domestic destinations Top international destinations Annual traffic Public transport: the bus routes 19, 20, and 31 stop on the upper level of the airport. Routes 19 and 20 connect the airport to Pearl Ridge Center, Hickam AFB, downtown Honolulu, Alamona Center, and Waikiki. Route 31 connects the airport to Tripler Army Medical Center, via Kala'i Transit Center. Routes 9, 40, 40A, 42, and 62 run on Nimitz Highway within walking distance of the airport. When Honolulu Rail Transit Phase 2 opens in 2019, there will be a station at the airport connecting it to downtown Honolulu and points west of the airport. Incidents and accidents: on March 22, 1955, a United States Navy Douglas R-6D-1 liftmaster transport on descent to a landing in darkness and heavy rain strayed off course and crashed into Palik'e Peak in the southern part of Oahu Swayani Range, killing all 66 people on board. It remains the worst air disaster in Hawaii history and the deadliest heavier-than-air accident in the history of U.S. naval aviation. On July 22, 1962, Canadian Pacific Airlines Flight 301, a Bristol Britannia 314 crashed while it attempted a go-around. 27 of the 40 passengers and crew on board were killed. Vickers Viscount N7410 of Aloha Airlines was damaged beyond repair when it collided on the ground with Douglas DC-9-31N906H of Hawaiian Airlines on June 27, 1969. On August 8, 1971, Vickers Viscount N7415 of Aloha Airlines was damaged beyond economic repair when a fire broke out upon landing. Pan Am Flight 830, a bomb exploded aboard as the aircraft prepared for approach to Honolulu International Airport from Tokyo on August 11, 1982. One teenager was killed and 15 others were injured. The aircraft did not disintegrate, and made a safe emergency landing in Honolulu. Aloha Airlines Flight 243, flying from Hilo to Honolulu International Airport on April 28, 1988, experienced a rapid decompression. An 18-foot-long section of the fuselage roof and sides were torn from the airplane, due to metal fatigue. Out of the 89 passengers and 6 crew members, the only fatality was a flight attendant blown out of the airplane. Several passengers sustained life-threatening injuries. The aircraft diverted to Kahului Airport. United Airlines Flight 811, a Boeing 747 carrying 3 flight crew, 15 cabin crew and 337 passengers from Honolulu to Auckland on February 24, 1989, suffered rapid decompression when a cargo door separated from the aircraft after takeoff from the reef runway. 9 passengers were swept from the aircraft. The plane returned to Honolulu. Bajinka Plot, a plot discovered by U.S. and Filipino intelligence authorities after a fire in a Manila apartment, included in its first phase the planned detonation of bombs aboard several flights inbound to, or outbound from, Honolulu on January 21, 1995. The Bajinka plot later developed into the September 11 attacks. In popular media, the airport is featured in the 2 racing video games, Test Drive Unlimited and Test Drive Unlimited 2. The airport has also been featured in several episodes of the Hawaii Five-0 television series, as well as in the 2006 film, Snakes on a Plane, and the 2014 film Godzilla. The latter was actually only featured in a single exterior shot as all scenes filmed at the airport were actually filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia. References. External links. Honolulu International Airport, Honolulu International Airport Flight Information, Hickam Air Force Base, FAA Airport Diagram, effective September 17, 2015, resources for this airport, FAA Airport Information for HNL, AirNav Airport Information for PHNL, ASN Accident History for HNL, FlightAware Airport Information and Live Flight Tracker. NOAA-NWS latest weather observations for PHNL, Sky Vector Aeronautical Chart for HNL, check current FAA delays for this airport.